With a 4.2 star rating on PC Part Picker, while being on the lower end in terms of price, is the MSI B450M-Pro VDH MAX the right motherboard for you? Watch to find out. Now, just to make it clear, this video is not a review of the product. This video aims to give anyone who wants to get this motherboard clear reasons as to why you would want to purchase this. MSI's B450M-Pro VDH MAX motherboard is AMD's B450 chipset motherboard, which is the successor to MSI's B450M-Pro VDH motherboard. The Max at the end of the motherboard means it is compatible with the 3rd gen Ryzen CPUs, like the Ryzen 5 3600 or the Ryzen 3 3100 out of the box. It has 4 DIMM slots for memory which can support up to 128 gigs. Side note, these are the frequencies that can be supported by the motherboard once you overclock the memory via the AXMP mode, which can be done with the motherboard BIOS settings. It has 2 PCIe slots, the first one being the PCIe 3.0 slot, which runs at 16 times speed. The second one is the 2.0 slot. For storage, you have 2 options. You can either go for the SATA ports or the M.2 slot. So there are 4 SATA ports and 1 of the M.2 slots. I will just let you read the rest of the specifications by yourself, otherwise this video will become a 30-minute video. Be sure to check the description if you want to explore specifications of this motherboard on MSI's official website. Now, exactly why would you buy this motherboard? Reasons are as follows. The first major reason being price. The main reason you should be getting this motherboard is if you have a low budget. You'll have to sacrifice some features like Bluetooth and RGB lights, but most functional features are still going to be there, so it shouldn't matter that much. Another reason is if you need a micro ATX motherboard. This motherboard is a micro ATX motherboard, so if you're building a micro ATX PC, then this will suit your build. However, if you're building an ATX build, then this motherboard will still fit your case, and there's nothing wrong with using a micro ATX motherboard in an ATX build, it just might look out of proportion. So that's on you. Another reason is if you don't mind wide internet connection. This motherboard does not come with built-in Wi-Fi, so you will either have to buy a Wi-Fi card to put it in the PCIe slot, or use the LAN port to take advantage of the wide internet. Personally, I think wide internet is better, hence I didn't mind that there was no Wi-Fi option. Another reason to buy this motherboard is if you want to future-proof. Since this is a Max motherboard, it will support up to the 3rd gen AMD CPU. So at the moment, if you're rocking the 2nd gen CPUs, then in the near future you might be able to upgrade to the 3rd gen AMD CPUs. Another reason that you should be getting this motherboard is if you do not require a flashy looking motherboard. This motherboard's PCB color is brown, and aesthetics is not where this motherboard shines. I prefer functionality over aesthetics, hence why I do not mind how this motherboard looks. Now, the last reason you would want to get this motherboard is if you do not have any intentions to overclock. It seems that the voltage regulator modules, VRMs, are the ones to blame. I believe some overclocking can be done on this motherboard, but anything higher than the Ryzen 5 3600 will not go well on this motherboard, as stated in the Linus Tech Tips forum. Link in the description below. This motherboard has a base price of 144 New Zealand dollars and a base price of 90 US dollars, which is not bad considering how much it has to offer. I have also included screenshots of the motherboards that are close to the price of this motherboard, which I will play in the background so you can have a good comparison of all the motherboards available for roughly the same features and around the same price. One important thing I forgot to mention is if you get a graphics card that is not a single slot or a low profile graphics card, then you may end up losing one of your PCIe slots or potentially both of them, like I have. And in some cases, the graphics card may be too large for your motherboard or the case, so make sure you're paying attention to your graphics card form factor, the length and the width. So bear that in mind when you're grabbing a graphics card for your setup. Ideally, you would want a low profile or a single slot graphics card. I believe this motherboard would be great for a starter build. The main motive of this video was to inform you what this motherboard has and what it lacks, so you can understand exactly why you would want to get this motherboard. This motherboard can fit many budgets, but it would not be suitable for a mid to high-end PC build, as it lacks some features like Bluetooth and overclocking capabilities. If you prefer functionality over aesthetics, then this motherboard should not disappoint you. Also, I would recommend to see if this motherboard goes on sale for more savings. I hope this video helped you out, and if you do have any questions, do post them in the comments below. Share this video with anyone who is wanting to buy a motherboard for their starter build, because I'm sure it will help them out too. Anyways, take care and I will see you in the next one.